YouTubers, it's Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you tonight with a topic of Colt single action army clones. What we have here are a pair of Beretta Stampedes made by Beretta to the fine quality requirements of Beretta. And what you see here, fine case hardening, very deep bluing, nice polish of all metal parts. And if you're into cowboy action shooting, you're not going to win with a 45 long Colt, but you can sure have a lot of fun. Now the Beretta has a transfer bar, so it's safe to carry with 6 rounds, but only 5 are loaded for Cowboy. Has a reverse pawl so that you can have alignment with every click to load easily. Now the thing about the Beretta Stampede is that the trigger pull is very light. You might even call it a hair trigger, so that this pistol is not for the inexperienced, because if you keep your finger on the trigger, you will have an accidental discharge because the trigger pull is so light. It's only around 1.5 pounds, maybe a little bit closer to 2 pounds, but it's a very light trigger, so that the user must keep the finger off the trigger, especially when the firearm is cocked. If the finger is on the trigger at all, it's liable to go off, so that the experienced user will not put the finger on the trigger until the shooter is ready to fire. Sights are a groove in the frame and a blade front. Your typical single action army sight picture. Now to unload, you'll see a lot of shooters at the range, and what they'll do is take their finger on this very generous ejector rod button and they'll push the fire round out, and then they have to pick it out with their hands. The recommended way to unload fired cases from a single action revolver is to be very brisk with the action of the ejector rod. So you eject like this, so that the empty cases are ejected clear of the weapon with one stroke. You don't want to baby this action. Just give it a good brisk ejection and the empty will come right out. Then, to reload, pick up 2 rounds, not just 1 at a time, because you're wasting time going back for ammo. Pick up 2 at a time, drop 1 in, advance, drop the second one in. And then advance while you're picking up 2 more, whether you're taking out of your belt or taking out of a cartridge box. Pick up 2 at a time, drop 1 in, advance, drop the second one in. And you'll load faster that way. Recommended to load faster and unload faster. That being said, the reason why we have a pair of revolvers is because in cowboy action you're going to have 5 rounds and 5 rounds. And you need to get to them quick. So a second gun is what you need. In fact, during the Civil War, the cavalry troopers was very common to carry 3 or 4 6-shot revolvers, so that the cavalryman has adequate firepower from horseback. So YouTubers out there, if you're in the market for a nice single action clone, by the way, some of the refinements of the Beretta Stampede are that You won't see any scratches between the locking notches because the timing of the bolt is so good that you just don't get dragging of the bolt across the cylinder. Once again, you never want to lower the hammer from half cock. You always want to go to full cock and then lower the hammer. But once again, these triggers are very light. If you go around with your finger on the trigger with the gun on full cock in the field, you're going to have an accidental discharge because these revolvers have a very light trigger pull. So keep the finger off the trigger. That's always a good idea until you're ready to shoot. But that is even more important with these Beretta Stampedes. Finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. If you see the target, line your sights, put your finger on the trigger, fire your piece, and then fingers off the trigger when you're not shooting. Otherwise, these are fun guns when handled properly. So YouTubers out there, have a good day, and there's your Beretta Stampede, Colt single action army clone. Bye for now.